Good evening, Your Honor. This is Ricardo Morales, Spanish interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
Hi, Mr. Morales. It's Judge Unsavich. I'm doing first appearances over at the jail. Can you help us?
Certainly, Your Honor.
Great. The first person I have at the microphone, her name is Sheila Gonzalez Diaz, and her case number is 22 CF 2852. Can you please ask her if she can hear you?
¿Puede escucharme, señora González? The interpreter can confirm there's connection, Your Honor.
Thank you. So, Ms. Gonzalez, you were arrested for 3 different counts.
Señora González, usted fue arrestada por 3 diferentes acusaciones.
You've got aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer,
De agresión física agravada en contra de un agente policial.
domestic violence battery,
Agresión física de naturaleza doméstica.
and then another count of battery on law enforcement. That one's not alleged aggravated.
Y otra acusación por agresión física en contra de un oficial de la policía, pero no constituye agresión física violenta.
I read the affidavit and there is probable cause.
Leí el affidavit y determino que hay suficiente indicio de criminalidad.
Let me ask pretrial release if there's any history,
Permítame preguntar al oficial de libertad provisional para ver si hay algún historial.
which I know the answer is yes. I looked it up because of the risk assessment sheet.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me let the interpreter translate what I just said. Sorry.
Me parece que la respuesta es sí, porque pude verlo en los documentos que tuve a mi alcance.
Okay, and so I guess just whatever the relevant.
Your Honor, in 2018, she had a battery which was dropped out of Osceola. In 2019, she also had a battery which was dropped. She was found guilty for firing a weapon into a structure. She did do DOC time. She was found incompetent in 2019, MM 0478.
Okay.
Can you repeat the case once more, counsel?
2019, MM 0478.
En el 2018 tiene una acusación de agresión física de Osceola. En 2019 tiene una acusación nueva que fue desestimada por detonar un arma de fuego hacia una estructura, hizo tiempo en cárcel y falla de incompetente en el caso número 2019 MM0478.
Your Honor, and I do believe the victim was supposed to come.
Me parece que la víctima quiere testificar.
Well, there are 3 different listed victims in this affidavit. I believe perhaps her mom
Yeah.
would be
Hay
the
3
one.
víctimas.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
No, that's okay. You're good.
Hay 3 víctimas en esta acusación. Me parece que quizá la mamá.
So I looked up 19 MM 478
Mira el caso 19 MM478.
because the risk assessment sheet did bring up the possibility of a previous finding of incompetence.
Pues la hoja de manejo de riesgo indicó que hay un historial de incompetencia.
What it looked like to me that there was a dismissal of a misdemeanor case due to a finding of incompetence in February of 2020.
Me parece que hubo una desestimación de un caso previo en febrero. Can you repeat the year once more, Your Honor?
2020.
En febrero de 2020.
But later that year, in July 2020, a felony judge actually took her plea in several felony cases.
Pero luego ese año, en julio, un juez de delitos tomó una declaración por varios asuntos relacionados a delitos.
And that's when she was sentenced to the 24 months DOC as a global resolution of multiple open cases.
Y ahí fue que se le sentenció a 24 meses de cárcel por un asunto global de todos los casos pendientes.
So I have to determine, and if the state has any info to show, I have to believe that she was found competent by that felony judge for him or her to have taken such a serious global plea.
Así que debo determinar si fue hallada competente en esa ocasión para terminar dicha sentencia global.
And I don't have anything that says she's been found incompetent since July 2020.
Y no tengo información que indique que ella ha sido hallada incompetente desde julio de 2020.
So having said that, her bond in count one will be $2,000.
Your Honor, if I may.
Okay, I'm sorry, public defender?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm not sure if there was an evaluation done by a doctor after the February 2020 finding of incompetency. And like you, I'm unsure why the felony judge took the plea, but right now she has a Baker Act hold, and the jail feels as if they can't safely place her. And so we were wondering if she could have an ROR to be transferred to Park Place.
No sabemos, no tenemos situación de incompetencia después del 2020. No sé por qué se hizo tal sentencia global. Como sé, no tenemos información, pero en este momento resta un Baker Act sobre esta persona y nos preguntamos si puede ser transferida.
Mr. Marino, do you have any information with regard to that Baker Act hold?
¿Tiene alguna información relacionada a ese Baker Act?
No, Your Honor. As of when I left the jail, I was not advised.
No, señoría.
About
En
Baker
la
Act
cárcel
hold.
no se me hizo ningún tipo de acercamiento en cuanto a eso.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
we have social services here, and they'd like to speak. If
Okay.
you allow it. Thank you.
Sure.
Señoría, tenemos aquí a Servicios Sociales que quiere decir unas palabras, si se puede. ¿Cómo no?
My name is Ashley Zuniga. I'm with the Social Services Department at the police office. I've known this client since 2014. I spoke to Daisy Mendoza this morning, which is a mental health counselor with me. She did indicate to me that this individual does have a Baker Act hold. And if she does stay here, she will be a little bit harder to replace because of her behavior.
Mi nombre es Ashley con el Departamento de Seguro Social. Conozco este caso desde el 2014. Hablé esta mañana con Miss Mendoza y me indicó que hay un Baker Act sobre esta persona y es difícil colocarle debido a su comportamiento.
All right, I'm going to ask her to have a seat. Can you all grab, see if Miss Mendoza is available for me, please?
Voy a pedirle que tomen asiento, por favor. ¿Pueden comunicarse con Miss Mendoza, por favor?
Thank you. Miss Clark, what was the other person that you said needed Spanish? Or who?
Kristen Ortiz Soto.
All right. That's 22 CF 2853, Christian Ortiz. Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name.
Buenas tardes, señor. Por favor, indíqueme su nombre.
Cristian Ortiz.
Christian Ortiz.
Mr. Ortiz, you were arrested for domestic violence battery,
Señor Ortiz, usted fue puesto bajo arresto por agresión física de carácter doméstico
and domestic violence by strangulation.
y agresión doméstica por estrangulación.
And I find probable cause.
Y determino que es suficiente indicio de criminalidad.
PTR, any history?
¿Algún historial de libertad provisional?
In October of 2021,
Hold on. Can y'all tell everybody over there at the jail to keep it down, please? Thank you. Okay, please continue.
In October of 2021, he was charged with battery, which was dropped. That was the same victim. In November of 2021, he was charged with false ID to a Leo. That was dropped out of Osceola. He does qualify for a bond with PTR at this time, and we did make contact with the victim, who stated they would like contact with him.
En octubre de 2021 recibió un cargo por agresión física que fue desestimado y fue contra la misma víctima. En noviembre 21 fue acusado por identificación falsa, que también fue desestimado en el condado de Osceola y nos parece que cualifica para fianza con libertad provisional. Y hablamos con la víctima en este caso, quien ha dicho que desea tener contacto con el acusado.
Bond will be set at count one, $2,000.
Por la acusación número 1 se fija la fianza en $2,000.
Count two, $2,000.
Acusación número 2, $2,000.
Pretrial release supervision.
Libertad provisional supervisada.
No contact with the victim.
No contacto con la víctima.
No weapons or firearms.
No puede tener posesión de armas ni armas de fuego.
No return
No puede regresar
to the Enchanted Oaks address
a la dirección de Enchanted Oaks
one-time assist order can be obtained to get personal belongings with law enforcement.
Le permitirá el regreso en una sola ocasión acompañado de la fuerza policial para recoger sus pertenencias.
Do you need a public defender, sir?
Usted necesita la asistencia de un abogado defensor público, señor. Sí, ya.
PD will be provisionally appointed.
Se designará provisionalmente a un defensor público.
State?
Judge, is that no contact with both victims? I think the daughter was listed as victim.
Correct. No contact with either victim.
No contacto con ninguna de las víctimas.
Next court date will be on demand.
Próxima fecha de audiencia será por demanda.
Thank you. We'll call the interpreter back when we're ready to talk to Ms. Gonzalez-Diaz again.
Certainly, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Aldo Alexis Camacho.
Rose Hernandez on behalf of Mr. Camacho.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name.
Hello, Alexis Camacho.
Thank you. Sir, you were arrested on 2 warrants signed by Judge Epperson. They're both for violation of probation. Your bonds are set at 0.
I would like to be heard on the issue of bond.
I'm not changing Judge Epperson's bond. His VOP warrant is set at 0. So you can file a motion for Judge Epperson to consider setting a bond.
Your Honor, I would like to have the opportunity to put my argument on the record. We have several bases that Your Honor should consider or might consider.
Okay, you could put it on the record.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. So in this case, we understand that Mr. Camacho is not entitled to a bond, but we are asking that Your Honor use her discretion to give him a bond in these 2 cases for the following reasons. Mr. Camacho was doing very well on probation until these violations occurred. He had been on probation for several months, only had about 3 months left in his probation. He was faithfully completing his BIP program. He only had 3 weeks left. He paid all of his financials. The financials that are indicated on the violation of probation were actually the financials that were due the day that he was arrested. So if he was violated for that, if he did not pay those, that's because he was arrested. Now, the other violations in this case are completely based on hearsay from Ms. Vasquez, including a police report, a statement, and the emails that were forwarded from the alleged victim to the probation officer. As Your Honor knows, that a violation of probation cannot be based on hearsay alone, and as of right now, that's all that the state has. Furthermore, Your Honor, if Mr. Camacho stays in jail for longer than a week, he will lose his job that he has had gainful employment at 4 Seasons as a server and a bartender. He also has 2 cats that have been stuck at his house since yesterday. They have not eaten since yesterday, and he has not been able to release his keys to anybody here. So he is asking that for the well-being of his pets and for his job, and based on the fact that he was doing very well on probation and the weakness of the state's case at this point, we would ask that Your Honor reconsider her decision.
The motion is denied. Next court date will be?
22 MM 712 and 21 MM 3294 VOP arraignment, October 13th, 8:05 a.m., courtroom 4A.
Thank you. Rafael Moradel? Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name.
Rafael Mordo.
Thank you. Mr. Mardell, you were arrested on a warrant for violation of probation. Judge Young set your bond at 0. Do you need a public defender?
Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally. Your next court date will be?
VOP arraignment, October 24th, 8:45 a.m., courtroom 5F.
Thank you.
What was that?
October 24th at 8:45 a.m., correct?
Thank you. I wasn't listening. I was letting the clerk say it, but I'll ask her if that's correct. She said, yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Evan Riddle? Good afternoon. Please say your name.
Evan Riddle.
Thank you. Mr. Riddle, you have 2 warrants for violation of probation. No, I'm sorry. Failing to appear. I apologize. One was a failed to appear. That's set at 0. And the other one, let me double check. It was Judge Young's, the second one. That's also failure to appear. And that one's set at 0 also. Do you need a public defender to represent you? PD will be appointed. Next court date?
421 NM 57, pre-trial November 8th, 8:15 a.m., courtroom 4A. 420 CF 2593, pre-trial December 7th, 9 a.m., courtroom 5F. Jury trial January 3rd, 9 a.m., courtroom 5F.
Thank you. Garrett Rosamond?
Garrett Rosenman is in detox, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you know if he has a public defender
I do not.
from previous? Okay, so we'll go ahead. It's a VOP warrant. It's fine. We'll reset him when he's available so that he could be informed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem. Jonathan Santiago? Good afternoon. Please say your name.
Jonathan Santiago.
So, Mr. Santiago, you have two warrants. One is a capias for failure to appear at jury trial. Judge Nix gave you a bond. That one's $2,000. The other one, though, is a warrant for new law arrest for trafficking or conspiracy to traffic in fentanyl, and that bond is $50,000. Do you need a public defender?
I had one.
You want one for the new charge? The trafficking one?
Yes.
They'll probably be the same one as the other case because they probably would take all your cases, but I can't guarantee that.
This other warrant was issued when?
The new one?
Yeah, because
The new one alleges, hold on. It alleges the crime occurred in January of this year. So it's from January. It's a warrant that was actually signed a while ago. Okay? And so I'll appoint the PD on the new case as well, and your next court dates will be, well, at least on the new case, it'll be on demand.
Correct. On 22 CF 1197, pre-trial November 30th, 9 a.m., courtroom 5A.
So the one that was the failure to appear is going to be reset for pretrial. The other one is on demand, okay?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. He'd like to know which one is on demand.
The new charge, the new law arrest for the conspiracy to traffic is on demand. The failure to appear for jury trial has now been reset for pretrial, so a new trial date can be picked. That's going to be in November. Your public defender will give that to you later. Thank you. Christian Vasquez. For the record, he meets criteria under VFOSC. Good afternoon. Please say your name.
Christian Vasquez.
Mr. Vasquez, it looks like you were arrested on violation of probation. Judge Karsten set your bond at 0. Do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed, and your next court date will be
VOP arraignment October 24th, 8:30 a.m., courtroom 4F.
October 24th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kevin Tellado. Good afternoon. Please say your name.
Kevin Tellado.
Mr. Tellado, you were arrested on a warrant for violation of probation. Judge Young set your bond at 0. Do you need a public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
PD will be appointed. Your next court date will be
VOP arraignment October 24th, 8:45 a.m., courtroom 5F.
October 24th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Jason, yes, ma'am?
I'm sorry to interrupt. The individual from the jail is here for Sheila Gonzalez Diaz, the one that we had the interpreter for.
Sure, that's fine. We can have Ms. Gonzalez Diaz come back up to the microphone, please. 22 CF 2852.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Ricardo Morales, Spanish interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
Good afternoon, it's Judge Savage again. We're back with Sheila Gonzalez, 22 CF 2852.
De vuelta en el caso con Sheila González, caso número 22F 2852.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to have Daisy Mendoza from the jail step up to the podium.
Pedirle a Daisy Mendoza que por favor vaya al podio.
Good afternoon, please state your name.
Buenas tardes, por favor indique su nombre.
My name is Daisy Mendoza,
Mi nombre,
and I am the mental health therapist.
mi nombre es Daisy Mendoza, soy la directora del Departamento de Salud Mental.
So the public defender was letting me know that there is a Baker Act hold on Ms. Gonzalez. Is that correct?
Indica el abogado de defensa que hay un Baker Act que reza sobre la señora González. ¿Eso es correcto? Eso es correcto.
And it's not because I didn't trust the representation of the public defender or the social services provider. It's just that PTR didn't have the same info, so I was clarifying the record for everybody's sake.
Y no es porque no creyeran en los argumentos del Departamento de Seguro Social y de los abogados, es que en la información que tengo a la mano no rezaba esta información y quería dejarlo claro para el acta.
Now, my concern is this, I'm being asked to release her ROR so that the Baker Act could take effect.
Mi preocupación es que me piden que la ponga en libertad bajo propio reconocimiento para que el Baker Act quede en efecto.
I'm sensitive to the circumstances that the jail may not be the best place for her if she's going through something right now.
Y estoy sensible a que las circunstancias no sean las mejores para colocarla a ella en la cárcel debido a su circunstancia actual.
However, she does have a long history of violent accusations.
Sin embargo, cuenta con un historial extenso de comportamiento agresivo.
And I have knowledge that lots of times people go to Park Place and then are stabilized and just released to the street.
Y tengo conocimiento de que hay personas que van a Park Place y se rehabilitan y luego los ponen en libertad.
Is ROR the only way that the jail can release her to Park Place?
¿Es la libertad bajo propio reconocimiento la única manera que Park Place puede poner en libertad a esta persona?
Ms. Mendoza?
That would be a question for PTR. I can't answer to that particular question. I know that if she is released by the courts, I will activate Baker.
Eso sería una pregunta para el programa de libertad provisional. No creo por la respuesta. Solo sé que si se le pone en libertad, quedará en efecto el Baker Act.
Mr. Marino? So, if I release her mental health PTR to go to Park Place or to effectuate the Baker Act, is that something your office can manage?
Si liberta a persona para que vaya a Park Place y se efectúe el Baker Act, ¿eso es algo que su oficina puede manejar?
Your Honor, because she has a Baker Act, she wouldn't qualify for PTR. She also wouldn't qualify per statute because of the battery. For a direct PTR, she would qualify. She would have qualified for a bond with PTR had she had not been Baker Acted. However, I believe in ROR or you can also release her on a conditional release.
Entendemos que tiene el Baker Act, no cualifica para libertad provisional y no cualifica debido a su acusación de agresión. Es posible que cualifique si se le...
We lost the interpreter. The interpreter's mic is cutting out.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
I'm sorry, Counsel, can you repeat the last part?
So he's saying that an option could be conditional release.
Y una opción podría ser la libertad condicional.
And in my experience, in the cases that I've dealt with when I was in the criminal court, conditional release is just a joke.
Y en mi experiencia, por mi experiencia trabajando en el tribunal, la libertad condicional es un chiste,
Because it's not supervised by anybody.
porque no es supervisado por nadie.
Ms. Mendoza, what is the situation with regard, if you can answer this, the situation with regard to where she could be placed if she is not able to post a bond?
Ms. Mendoza, ¿cuál es la situación en cuanto a ella a ser colocada si no ofrece la fianza?
She will remain in jail. She will be, right now, she's under close monitoring by mental health. We already have medication verified, so she can start on medication. And we'll do the best that we can to continue making sure that she's stable.
Yeah, I know that the jail, I'm sorry, interpreter.
Permanecería en cárcel. En este momento está siendo monitoreada por el Departamento de Salud Mental y está bajo medicamento y haríamos lo mejor que podamos para este caso.
Your Honor, at this time, she's being 24-hour supervised, direct supervision at the jail. And if she is going to be getting her medication, she will be getting her medication daily until she's stabilized.
En este momento cuenta con supervisión directa del Departamento de Salud Mental cada 24 horas en la cárcel y si necesitara medicamentos se le proveería tal medicamento hasta que quede estable.
Unless she can pay her bond and she gets out prior to her next court date.
No sé si pueda pagar la fianza hasta que se le fije la próxima fecha de audiencia.
I would say for the record, she is at the jail right now and she's behaving very well. She seems very calm.
Your Honor, we did have social services sitting next to her to keep her calm.
That's good. I'm glad, but she seems like she's getting through the process. I don't know if the state has anything to add. Do you have any concerns or any recommendations?
Diría para el acta que en este momento la acusada se encuentra en la cárcel y está de buen ánimo, se está comportando muy bien. No sé si la Fiscalía tiene alguna otra recomendación o algo más que agregar.
Outside of the court not releasing her on her own recognizance, we'll defer to the court judge.
Fuera de no permitir la libertad bajo reconocimiento propio, queda todo a discreción de este tribunal.
In other words, you're saying you object to the ROR?
En otras palabras, usted objeta la libertad bajo propio reconocimiento.
That's correct. If she's not able to be supervised by PTR or some other entity that I am not aware of, state is objecting to her release.
Correcto. Si no va a haber supervisión de ninguna de las partes o el programa de libertad provisional, entonces sí, en efecto, nos oponemos.
Thank you. At this time, based on the information that has been provided,
En este momento, basado en la información provista,
the court is not inclined to release her ROR.
este tribunal no permitirá la libertad bajo reconocimiento propio.
I have significant concerns on her ability to remain law-abiding once she is releasable from Park Place, if in fact that's where she goes.
Tengo preocupación sobre su comportamiento de ser puesta en libertad y llevada a este lugar.
Based on PTR's information that she is under 24 hours supervision at the jail and her medication is going to be delivered to her to stabilize her, the court's going to just set bond in this case.
Basado en la información provista por el programa de libertad provisional, habiendo conocido que cuenta 4 medicamentos.
And hold on, I'm sorry that it might be a little bit more difficult on the jail's part. I don't intend to cause that on the jail. We can't hear the interpreter.
My apologies, Your Honor.
No, your mic is cutting in and out.
1 second, Your Honor. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you repeat that last part, Your Honor?
I don't want to cause difficulty for the jail in where to place her.
No quiero causar problemas o dificultades a la cárcel en cuanto a la colocación de esta persona.
And I acknowledge and appreciate that it might be a little bit more difficult in her situation for them to find a proper place to place her.
Y comprendo que será un poco más difícil hallar una colocación adecuada para esta persona.
But my bigger concern is her safety and the safety of her mom and the public if she is going to be released to Park Place and then within a couple of days just put out on the street.
Pero mi mayor preocupación es su seguridad, la seguridad de su mamá y de otras personas. Si esta persona es colocada en Park Place y luego de unos cuantos días es puesta en libertad.
Bond in count 1 is $2,000.
Fianza en la primera acusación son $2,000.
Count 2 is $1,000.
Acusación número 2, $1,000.
Count 3 is $1,000.
Acusación número 3, $1,000.
No contact with her mom.
No contacto con su madre.
No intentional contact with the 2 listed law enforcement officers.
No contacto intencional con los oficiales de la policía.
No return to victim's residence.
No regresar a la residencia de la víctima.
No weapons or firearms.
y no tenencia de armas o armas de fuego.
I believe we previously appointed the public defender, but if not, we'll do that now.
Me parece que habíamos designado un defensor público anteriormente, pero si no lo hemos hecho, lo haremos en este momento.
And the public defender had something to say?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to state for the record that PTR's statement that she would be given her medication and that would stabilize her, they have no way of knowing that. They're not qualified to make that statement. That's an assumption on their behalf that the medication they have in the environment here will stabilize her. They're pretrial release, Your Honor.
Quiero que conste en el acta, señoría, que los argumentos del programa de libertad provisional en cuanto a la estabilización por medicamento de esta persona es una asunción de parte del programa, no hay forma de monitorear el asunto y queremos dejar esto que conste en actas.
And my apologies if I said that incorrectly as I was trying to think out loud.
Y me disculpo si lo dije incorrectamente, pues trataba de pensar en voz alta.
My intention is to say that they can provide her with her medication or with the medication that the jail psychologist designates as appropriate for the conditions he knows or she knows.
Y mi intención es que se le provea o se le pueda proveer los medicamentos que necesita, los medicamentos que el psiquiatra de la institución entienda necesarios para esta persona.
My suggestion is that there needs to be a little bit more information provided so that all the different entities that the court is obligated to be concerned about are protected, including and starting with Ms. Gonzalez.
Y en mi intención que todas las entidades involucradas en este asunto estén protegidas, incluyendo a Miss González.
And of course, the listed victim in the paperwork.
Y claro está, la víctima enumerada o nombrada en los documentos.
Next court date will be on demand.
La próxima fecha de audiencia será en demanda.
Thank you. Thank you to the interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jason Block. Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name.
My name is Jason Block, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Block, you have a list here of the offenses charged. We've got distributing cocaine, manufacturing or delivering of paraphernalia, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, and 1 count of possession of marijuana with intent to sell or deliver. So there is probable cause. PTR?
Your Honor, he has no prior history. The charges do qualify for a bond with PTR.
Sir, how long have you lived in Miami?
Like 18 years?
Gotcha. And so you haven't come up to Kissimmee or this area to stay in this area? You just happen to be in this area?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Bond in count 1 will be stayed, and all subsequent bonds will be reduced to 100. So 7,500, then 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. With PTR, do not possess or consume any illegal substances. Do you need a public defender?
Yes, Your Honor.
PD will be appointed provisionally. Next court date will be on demand. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Kathleen McCausland, also known as Kathleen Attilis. Good afternoon. Please say your name.
Kathleen Attilis.
Thank you. Ms. Attilis, you were arrested for domestic violence, battery by strangulation. There is probable cause. PTR, any history?
Your Honor, she has no prior history. The charge does qualify for a bond with PTR. At this time, we weren't able to make contact with the victim.
Okay. Bond will be set at $1,000 with pretrial release supervision. No contact with the victim. No return to the residence for so long as the victim's staying there. If there's someplace else for your daughter to go and she goes, then PTR can confirm that you can go back to the house. You can go back one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings. Do not possess any weapons or firearms, and do not possess or consume any alcohol. Do you need a public defender?
Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally. Next court date, on demand. All right, Marcus Rizzio. Good afternoon. Please say your name.
My
Mr. Rizzio, you were arrested for domestic battery by strangulation. I've read the affidavit and there is probable cause. PTR?
Yes, Your Honor. From 2013 to 2017, he has been charged with driving without a valid driver's license. He was found guilty for that, DUI twice, and a battery. The victim in that case is unknown as of this time. The the charge does qualify for a bond with PTR, and we did make contact with the victim, who at the time stated she was unsure if she wanted contact with him.
Okay, thank you. One moment, please. Okay, ma'am, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm you will testify truthfully, so help you God?
Yes,
Thank you. Please lower your hand and tell me your name.
Stephanie Ubach.
Okay. And ma'am, you're the person who's listed as the victim in this charge, correct?
Correct.
All right. What would you like to say?
I'm not trying to mess up his life. He was doing very well. And he has a past, but like I said, he has done very well. He doesn't belong there. We're toxic for each other, and I just want him to go to his side of town and me stay on my side of town. And if we can agree to that, then I will drop the charges.
I appreciate the information. State, do you wish to ask any questions?
Yes. Are you presently in fear of him?
No,
Okay. Did you call 911 or did someone else?
I did.
Okay. And are there children in the home?
My child is with his father right now,
Okay. And how old is that child?
13.
Okay. So just so I understand, you do not wish to have contact with?
Correct.
Okay. No other questions, Judge?
Mr. Rizzio, do you need a public defender to represent you?
Yes, ma'am, I've been out of work for like a year.
PD will be appointed provisionally. Does the public defender wish to ask any questions of the witness?
I just wanted to verify, sometimes it's hard for us to hear. She said that she was not in fear, but that she did not want contact, correct, Your Honor?
That's what I heard her say.
Okay, no question.
Yes, ma'am?
Face to face. I've made arrangements. I have a bondsman. Like I said, I'm not trying to mess up his life. He's not trying to mess up mine. We just need to go our separate ways, and I believe we can agree to that. The situation last night or the night before got out of hand. I've made arrangements with the bondsman. I've made arrangements to get his property to his mother's house or to his brother's. We will take care of all of that.
It needs to be done.
Yes.
All right, I appreciate that information.
Question now, Your Honor?
Sure.
Would you feel comfortable if he returned one time with law enforcement to gather anything that you may have forgotten to give to his mother?
I will not forget anything. I actually brought his wallet with me. I don't know how to get it to him.
Yeah, we can't get it to him from here. You'd probably be better
You
off
go drop
giving
it
to
off.
a family member if you wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, I won't forget anything.
Okay. So to answer the public defender's question,
No.
she does not agree to that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the information, ma'am. I heard what you said about you would agree to drop the charges. Ultimately, it's the state attorney's decision whether or not they're going to file charges. You could certainly give them your input and they will consider that and then go from there. All right, thank you for your time. Mr. Rizzio, your bond is going to be set at $1,500 with pretrial release supervision. You will have no contact with Ms. Ubach. She is going to, admittedly, she seems pretty organized. You're going to take all of your things over to your mom's house. If there's anything that's missing, just notify your public defender, and your public defender will know how to file whatever motions need to be filed. But I'm not going to allow any contact with her, between you and her at all, and you may not return to the scene, and you are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your next court date will be on demand. Thank you. Thank you. LaMarcos Robinson.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name.
Lamarcus Bernard Robinson Jr.
Thank you. Sir, you were arrested for possession of marijuana under 20, possession of paraphernalia, and resisting an officer without violence. There is probable cause. PTR?
Yes, Your Honor. In 2019, he was charged with battery out of Orange County that was dropped. 2020, marijuana possession that was dropped out of Orange. In June of 2020, resisting without violence that was no pros. In August of 2022, he was charged with indecent exposure that was dropped, and a county ordinance violation last month that was dropped, or that was guilty, credit time served, out of Orange. As of right now, the charges do qualify for direct PTR.
Okay. Bond in each count will be set at $100. So it'll be 100, 100, and 100 with pretrial release and random drug tests. Do not possess or consume any illegal substances. Do you need a public defender, Mr. Robinson? I'm sorry, the mic might be off.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
It's okay.
Yes.
No problem. Public defender is provisionally appointed. Your next court date will be on demand. Thank you. Pedro Garcia.
Your Honor, they just asked that he stay in the cage.
Not a problem. Can he hear me where he is?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Garcia, you have two new added charges. They're both battery on an inmate. There is probable cause. PTR, any other history?
Your Honor, I don't have the actual case number that he is currently incarcerated on.
Okay.
However, he is currently already incarcerated.
And there's no other history that you know of?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Bonds will be stayed, and to the best of the jail's ability, keep them separate. He's not to have any intentional contact with the two listed inmates that he's accused of battering. Mr. Garcia, if you can hear me, do you want a public defender? PD will be appointed provisionally. Next court date will be on demand. Thank you. And then we have Castrin Orango Santiago.
Your Honor, he refused.
Okay. I don't know if Judge Arendis appointed the PD yesterday.
I'm unaware, Your Honor.
Okay, so this was something that was passed over. I reviewed the affidavit and I looked up, like what a park ranger has to go through to become a park ranger, and they are sworn officers. And so they are certified, and they do go through a law enforcement training, and this affidavit does in fact also say that he works with and under the direct supervision uniformed officer working for Kissimmee Police Department. So for purposes of probable cause, the court finds there is probable cause, that the definition of officer is applicable in the probable cause determination. How it's going to play out later, I'll let you all argue it later. But PC, there's sufficient PC for the arrest. So threat to law enforcement officer, and his bond will be stayed at $500. I'm sorry, at the $1,000 that Judge Arendis said it.
Your Honor, will you maintain the no return as well?
Whatever Judge Arendis did yesterday, I think she just wanted me to double check or to give the state time if necessary to find out about the officer definition. So whatever conditions of bond Judge Arendis imposed yesterday will remain.
Are we waiving his appearance?
Yeah, I mean, if the public defender is okay with waiving his appearance,
Yes, Your Honor, I think this is the second day.
yeah. All right, thank you. All right, that's all we have. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 1.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
I just got a call from social services, and they asked me to put on the record that Ms. Sheila Gonzalez Diaz, that's the one with the Baker Act hold.
Yeah, I remember.
They had to use of force on her as she left the chapel, and she is now on suicide watch.
Those are the hardest ones to deal with, I'll be honest with you, because, you know, you're balancing so many different things. There's no right answer. You know, everything is a little bit if we had more of a way to ensure that after the Baker Act is resolved, that she wasn't just released without the court being aware, then that would be less of a worry. But in my experience of 17 years on the bench, unfortunately, they just open the door and let the person leave. And then the person typically can very easily go right back off medication and hurt themselves or hurt other people. And that's such a huge risk. So I would recommend to the public defender as quickly as possible, perhaps get a motion in front of the felony judge who's going to be hearing the case. Maybe that felony judge in being the judge presiding over the case will have more options than the IA judge has. I'm heartbroken for situations like that because nobody comes out the better for it, and that's sad. So thank you. Have a good day.